We want action, and that is
Thresh
exactly what worked for RA in that game too, and got them that win.
I'm just interested in how the comp works as a whole. Yes, you're always looking at the rocket grabs, but it is interesting how the rest of the comp coheses with that. This feels a little bit more reserved in the Thresh.
Look, I'm a big fan of Blitzcrank for either of these supports, but you also have to consider that you're hooking in a Nico into your carry, so that's probably not the most ideal. Thresh will also work for now.
There's a big front line.
Yeah, there's a couple of beefy tanks locked in for both sides, but BLG having this Nico for this game too, compared to someone like that Annie, we saw him pilot this.
Let's go.
Let's go. We get some roars in the crowd right now.
Fans woke up. Let's go.
They just rocked up to the scene.
And just said, wait, what's going on? Oh, wait, we're going the distance against BLG, the semifinalists at MSI. Looks pretty good. There was a little bit of level 1 cheekiness coming out from both sides. I don't think Strive dies here, luckily, at least. But both teams just trying to find as much of an edge as they can. But this is where I want to talk about those edges and where you find them for both sides. We already talked a lot about how RA are reminiscing off that first game. Some subtle changes to the comp.
Yeah, and with these two wards getting placed down by BLG, they're just going to start Lian's blue buff, and that is going to mess up with this Wukong's clear, because he just has to automatically go to the enemy blue and flip the map on a Jinx and Thresh, and that's going to be a very big problem if this trend continues, because we can't leave Jinx in an isolated matchup, especially when you have someone that can look for those engages like this Vi.
I'm just so excited because I actually get to see a Lulu. I don't know if I'd ever said that before, but on actually getting chunked out. I don't know if I'm super excited anymore because Assume is getting excited now. First blood to RA.
On playing a little bit too disrespectful against a Thresh, calling his... Wait, this is a sign in the bowling. Bin's gonna look for it.
Okay, the bat came through just in time, but maybe they try to get Feather. They have the Insai on here, could tank a lot of those shots. Xiaoshu just figured out what he can do. Might end up TPing to the wave. There we go, to the tower. The hook actually comes through, and maybe Bin didn't want this one. He's trying to get out now. They do have to preemptively flash. Now Lien has shown up from the back, and now Bin goes down. Not the way BLG wanted to play this one. They set up the trap, but it didn't spring.
Who let them cook, Mazel? Who let them cook? They forgot that On died first blood, and they're still gonna go for that dive. And Xiaoshu coming in with that level 2 TP denies the dive, and they get a kill in return onto Bin.
Holy cow. There's a way you want to start game 3. It's this way for RA. We'll look back at that one as well. Started off by BLG.
Yeah, Feather just called On's bluff, starting the hook, and the Glacial just meant that On wasn't able to escape the sticky hands of Feather, and Assume committing double summoners for this Lulu as well with the passive got away just fine, and also getting that back really early on also denied the dive and BLG's entire early game composition.
Oh, barely out of the Vault Breaker range, and there was a Dark Passage right behind him, so really good evasion mechanics from RA, and Lien now looking to punish Shun.
Leon also does have the red buff in hand as Feather. He doesn't have the flash available.
Oh, the play from Feather was so beautifully timed, and now Assume is going to get excited. Feather is still alive. He finally goes down to On, picking him up. The glitter lands, but now BLG have bit off way more than they can chew. They need the check, please. Big kill from On, who finds himself a double kill. It's 2 going back both ways, but Lien makes it RA's favor with a 3.
But look at the scoreboard right now. You got the double kill, but into the hands of a Lulu. While the other side, we have RA now Assume sitting on that 3-1 as well. So we had Elk even flashing in, committing for a Thresh, which is just never worth at the very end. And BLG setting themselves behind for this game 3.
Oh, man, the way that it goes. We were talking about, do RA just continue to fight like they did in game 2? Well, they have answered by saying, yes, we do. And it's a lot of this extension from BLG.
Yeah. Something that I'll never get sick of is on playing Lulu. He's a combat Lulu. He goes in. He got the double kill onto RA as we have the other side, Wukong and the Jinx picking up these kills, and that is just never ever good, as we've seen what Fed Wukongs do at the very end, and they do have a punch for this early game, but it is going to be the flash committed from Lian as well, as Bin, he kind of just presses tab and his entire bot side's dead.
Hey, he's a sneaky son of a gun. Maybe he can get away from this one. They do have the vision on him, and there's the cease and desist. They still need a little bit of damage follow-up, but Yagao coming right around the corner here to make sure it's so. Shin might not even need him. They would try to leave it to a solo bolo, but at least I'll try to give the credit over to Yagao. He's going to dodge out here. He's going to try to get Shun, but he doesn't. Yagao gets the kill.
They lost all priority of this mid lane, and it is going to be BLG opening up the map with this tier 1. Strive has an angle here, no vision.
Oh no, Shun, he misses it. It's a big death sentence on, but that big pop awesome right in return. BLG trying to escape now. Bin very tanky on the front line as well, and this might actually signal Elk to move forward. He does have a lot of damage in the tank, and he's looking for the Calibrum shots on a Strive. There's on blasting over on, you monster! He capitalizes on Elk's positioning and helps make it happen. They pick out Strive, and now that's a dragon for BLG.
And then Nico once again finds 3 people with that Pop Blossom, and I don't know how RA is going to come back from such a tragedy on being his usual self, flashing to secure that final kill. But we have a look at how this fight continued, because RA, they thought they found the pick, but Shun being the first one that RA spotted, they just didn't have the damage to one-shot this this Vi, and Jinx wasn't able to find those resets that they so desperately need, because Bin, for the remaining fight, Elk is now dead for some reason.
They caught Elk in the mid lane, and now Assume gets to get fired up after that tower goes down. Now look at a replay of that. The cleanse has been burned as well, so summoner spell and a death.
We do have TP available for Bin, so he's just going to come back with that as well, as alright, they are going to start this and threaten it potentially, but they've been sitting in this bush for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't made the decision. Now they finally commit there, as they will be trying to burn the Baron, but more so looking for the fight. They find Shun. He goes in, but the Moonlight Vigil with the Infernum. That's so big, and the Gale Force forward. It could unlock him. The Mega Death Rocket doesn't go through. The Pop Blossom misses on. Trying to find another kill. It is Chaos that is leading RA's way. BLG just didn't know where to run, didn't know where to go. Assume, though, you've overstayed your welcome, and Bin is a big old meatball coming to your pasta soon. Big kill from On, who flashes for it, because that's just the Chad he is.
Watching On play Lulu just makes my day so much better, but what a huge team fight going towards the side of BLG, because all their focus was onto Elk. We had the Flash Lantern for Strive to take, but he got instantly bursted with the Inferno coming out of Elk on this Aphelios, and that is going to be Soul Point going towards the side of BLG. We know that BLG saw the Annie on the very side, but look at so many abilities getting committed onto Shun, where this Inferno was just absolutely nuts, and fighting in such a tiny choke. Yagao's ultimate, although missed, it doesn't really matter, because Assume he was so far away from the remaining team. Only 2 members survive out of this entire team composition, and Sion managed to get his hands onto this Jinx, as she doesn't have that LDR yet.
It just feels like Shun invited the entirety of RA to a shooting range and just said, "Hey, come join me out on the lawn over here. You want to come? You want to come stand here and wait?" And then it was just Elk saying, "Let's go."
I like how Bin had that kill, but On just had to flash for it. He had to flash for it. But I'm assuming, I'm not too sure if On's sitting on that Mikhail's just quite yet. He does have the flash. It's going to be very careful.
Unstoppable onslaught. Luyan is on to on the backside. Bin is tanking up a storm right now, but it's Strive on the side who gets caught. Is he even going to get to use Tibbers? He does get it down, but I don't know if he got the combo right there. And that is a huge turn in the events for BLG. They find Luyan on the side again, and Pop Blossom comes forward. Not going to hit. The death sentence does. Assume trying to get excited, trying to make something happen, but it's so much damage from Elk, who just keeps cutting him down, and that's 4 kills, 4 more for Elk, and another big fight for BLG. Calm, cool, and collected is the killer of Bilibili.
Name me a more iconic duo, Elk and getting quadra and pentakills on this Aphelios. They're gonna get the Baron now, but we'll have a look at how this fight started. So it was a trade initially, 1-for-1, as Bin was getting targeted down by RA, but Strive getting caught on the side and not having enough damage to burst anyone on this Annie does mean he just dies for free, and Lan desperately trying to look for a flank angle, but Elk dodging everything. Other than this initial cyclone, he walked into it, but it wasn't enough from the side of RA. There was no follow-up on this Jinx, especially with the Nico ultimate just zoning them out. This ultimate from Elk and the Gale forcing in, that's the classic LPL ADCs that we all know and love.
Absolutely, and at this point, like I said earlier, as soon as that Gale Force comes online for Elk, he is just another man, a machine, if you will. Does less damage than Assume in that fight. That was 7,400 damage from Assume, still unable to get anything. But 6,500 ain't too shabby either. And again, it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of this series, is so far, besides that game 2, which was a bit of an amalgamation, BLG have looked on form since MSI, since even falling to JDG. I think we got to see them discover a lot of their own strengths. I mean, the Infernal Soul is just so big for this composition, especially with the green and white for Elk. He just pepper down so much damage, and here comes Yagal over the side, waiting for a big Pop Blossom. But that Baron, it's already gone. And now BLG could just look to take the fight. Look who's reared it up at the front. It's Bin. Moonlight Vigil connects. You got so much distance. Lien has found Elk, but literally does no damage to him. Bin survives. Pop Blossom out, and Yakao gets one. A big caliber as well. Feather goes down. Another goes, and that's BLG without flashing forward. Over 8,000 damage, and the man is popping off BLG. They should find a finish to this game 3.
And once again, Mazel, another clean ace coming out of BLG, and they're gonna look to wrap up this series 2-1 going against RA, as they're going to close in on the base now with the Baron, with the TPs, and settle the week 2-0 with their series.
What a way to do it. Consistent team fighting, the slow fights, as you said, but it's more importantly, Elk that waits. He's a predator in the jungle, waiting until your last dying moment to jump out and smack you. And an incredible strength-to-strength jump for BLG. Yes, they had to work for it. They had to go all 3 games, but they will start their first week of the LPL Summer Split at 2-0. And especially the way they did it over both teams. This one a little bit more work, but the first one so dominant.
Yep, Elk is having an excellent performance on the Aphelios, but that is what you expect out of BLG when you do reach the 30-minute mark and you do have an Inferno Soul going over to the Aphelios, having a Lulu that's constantly buffing him as well.